Hello and welcome to the Franchise Tag Podcast with me, your host, Freddie Hall. Welcome back, Adam and Sky, for another edition of our deep dive episodes that we are doing throughout the August period. Thank you for watching the ones we've made so far. They've been a lot of fun. There's more to come as the season amps up. We've had the preseason games happening now. Most teams have played. I've been about as bothered about it as I was in the first episode we did of this, which is I don't care at all. I don't even know any of the results. I don't care. I don't need it. I don't need diet football. I want real football with teeth.
We won.
No one cares.
We won a meaningless game. Who was
smashed
it again?
The Commanders.
No one cares.
You smashed the Commanders' third team.
Yeah, but that's fine. Efton Chisholm the third. We'll come on to him though. Don't worry about him.
Well, we are going to be talking about your team in this episode because we are going to be doing the AFC East, a division that we've got a lot of eyes on, especially one of our members of the team here. And a lot of movement in this division. It's going to be fun chatting about it. So we'll crack on with it. In the last season, we had the division ending like this: the Buffalo Bills topping at 13-4. The Miami Dolphins going 8-9, the New York Jets going 5-12, and the New England Patriots going 4-13. A long old season for Sky Lawrence Pank. Not going to be this way that way this year though, but we'll get onto that very shortly. We'll start this evening with the Buffalo Bills, a team that now is just synonymous with going to the playoffs. It feels like Josh Allen at the helm. Sean McDermott, the head coach, what a team they've been in the last few years. Had a few guys come in and reinforce them. Joe Bosa from the LA Chargers, Josh Palmer as well from the LA Chargers. Larry Ogunjobi, they've brought back, Tre'Davious White, brought in Elijah Moore, re-signed some guys like Damar Hamlin, Ty Johnson, brought in a veteran in Shaq Thompson and Kendrick Green as well. Have lost Von Miller, but we feel like, Joey Bosa coming in is the replacement for Von Miller. He's gone to the Commanders, lost Matt Collins, the barefoot bandit of Buffalo. And they've lost a few more guys, but no one really as noteworthy. In the draft, obviously, a low draft pick 30, took Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback out of Kentucky in the second round. They took TJ Sanders, the deep tackle from South Carolina. And they took a third round pick, 72. They took defensive end Landon Jackson from Arkansas. That had a few players in this in the draft. And let's begin with the Buffalo Bills, Adam. I mean, like I said, synonymous now with wild card. Wild card. They're never a wild card. They it's synonymous with the playoffs. A team that is pushing every year for the Super Bowl. A team that every year everyone goes, the Super Bowl window's closing. Oh my God, what's going to happen? They're here to stay now, aren't they? Come on, we're over this, right?
Yeah, it does feel very much like that, doesn't it? It's I think it's going to be one of them things, and it's something that I think everyone kind of, I don't know why they haven't come to terms with it for the Bills, but they seem to have come to terms with it with the Ravens, where the Ravens, anyone just comes out and goes, well, Lamar Jackson's there, so they've got a chance. And it feels very much the same with Josh Allen, and that's probably how it's going to be. So all the time he's there and he's fit and he's playing in the way that he is playing at the moment, then yeah, they've always got a chance of getting there. I think we saw last year with the way they played, it became very much a run first offense, and that seemed to suit the way that they played with James Cook and Josh Allen as well. I think that works for them. Ray Davis as well helped out with that last year, and I think he'll improve for this year. And they've got some guys on the offense who are all right. Khalil Shakir is very reliable. Keon Coleman, a lot of people will hope that he'll make a jump this year, so for the second year. And the defense has been pretty good for many years, and is probably going to continue to be. They've invested heavily through the draft on the defense. I think you're going to see these guys, like you said, Maxwell Hairston, TJ Sanders, Landon Jackson, Deion Walker. They were the first 4 picks. They're all defense, and to be honest, they're all pretty decent picks. And there's a lot of expectation on these guys to be able to do something and be pretty good. So yeah, I think we've got a team here who is just always going to be in the mix all the time that Josh Allen is there, and they've kind of got everything going for them. So I would be pretty surprised if they didn't come out and win this division again.
I'm going to give you the theme tune to all of Sky's nightmares he's ever had, and it's hey, hey, let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo. I want to shout now, I want to shout now, hey, hey.
I actually like that one though, as opposed to Miami Dolphins. No, we don't like that.
Or
The Buffalo one's at least
JETS,
catchy.
Jets.
That one, I'm in the middle one. But you know, Americans have to spell their team's name out to remember it. Well, there's a few teams that do that.
Are you going to beat him this year, or?
No, I think obviously we'll come on to the Patriots, and I think we're all in agreement in that it will be a lot better than last year for multiple reasons. But I think the Bills, they're just too good, and that's fine. I remember on the pod I was saying Josh Allen MVP all year because there was a debate between him and Lamar, but he was just integral to what the Bills were doing. As you mentioned, Fred, when you were doing the overview, the significant, obviously, investment has been getting Joey Bosa. For me, that is clearly just a thing of we know we're going to be in the playoffs and we know we're probably going to play the Chiefs again. And if we do, we need someone to get to Patrick Mahomes. Bringing White back's obviously good for the secondary. And Adam's best mate, Ray Davis, right? Now, obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, James Cook is being a bit of a pain at the moment. He wants paying. He wants money. But Ray Davis has the 5th highest elusive rate amongst NFL running backs last season.
You
And
find
for
them,
me,
don't you? You
I
do
do
find
find
these
them.
stats.
Hey, I was going to say Sky's arse must be pretty deep because that's where he pulls out all these stats. Jeez.
Barkley, Bucky Irving, Jahmyr Gibbs, B. John Robinson, then Ray Davis. And only 0.5% separates those top 5. So what I'm getting at is I don't think people respect the Bills' depth. And I think there's a lot of weapons there. So I think even if James Cook doesn't play, they've planned and they're loaded to be like, look, we know we should have been in a Super Bowl by now. And, you know, they've won the division, I think, 5 years in a row, and they won it by 5 games last year. So, yeah, they're a powerhouse is what I'm basically trying to say in a nutshell.
Am I weird that every time I hear Ray Davis' name, all I can think of is Ray Davis? It's the only thing I can ever hear. And I really like him as well as a running back.
Do you think Ray Davis has got a fake bird, like a Bo Selector?
Yeah, it's called James Cook. Yeah, he's been a bit of a pain in the arse at the minute. Old Cookie, he's not he's been a bit miserable. He wants to get paid, he wants to get them big bucks, which can't blame him because I still think he sits in the underrated category a little bit. I still think he's not quite given the.
He's not thought of, is he, as the sort of elite of the elite, despite the amount of touchdowns.
I don't think his brother was either with Dow. It felt like Dalvin would have good seasons, and you go, yeah, he's good, but needs to see a bit more. And I feel like it's the same with James. You get sort of, he's sort of forgotten about in a way. But because he's not the star of the show, I suppose. Because Josh is, and obviously Josh's rushing yards that he does are they keep them in games, and they score touchdowns, and it's so physical in the style that he plays. But I think Cook does get forgotten about. But you got to remember that I don't think Allen doesn't get them opportunities without James Cook doing the graft as well. Like that's how that works. But I've got their roster up just here, and like I said, it's still got a lot of depth on it. I think people are still a bit head scratchy about their receiving unit. I think Khalil Shakir, I think is seen as a good receiver, but is seen as a utility guy, a little bit of like a Cooper Kupp light, or a Puka Nacua light, I suppose. Doesn't do maybe as much as them guys. And then when you look at Keon Coleman, everyone wants him to kick on. Josh Palmer was the second guy in LA. It's not exactly screaming depth there. And then on the tight ends, obviously they've got Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid. I was about to call him Colton Dindade then, which is a good duo to have. They have weapons everywhere, and obviously the one of the biggest weapons is the quarterback, who's obviously had a very active summer. He got married, didn't he? Got married to Haley Steinfeld this this summer, wasn't
Lucky
it?
man.
Say again?
Lucky man.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose he is. What a nice thing to say, Sky. Lucky guy. And defense-wise, I think they've just got like a good spine, right? You know, like Bosa, Ed Oliver, Matt Milano, Taylor Rapp, bringing back Tre'Davious White, who I know is on the last leg of his career, but he knows the playbook. He knows the Bills and what they want to do. And Taron Johnson, who's a decent corner as well. And then,
They signed Shaq Thompson as well, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
And they're doing the opposite to the Bengals. Sorry, I know you were probably going to go to Adam there, but I was just going to say we spoke about the Bengals. The Bills are doing the right, like they paid Higgins and Chase, but they know they got Josh Allen, the Bills, so they're happy to say have plug-in guys and actually invest on the other side of the ball because they know that's what's going to win you a championship.
Do we think that Sean McDermott's underrated in the same breath that we said about James Cook?
No,
I don't think so. This is going to sound very unfair because he is better than this, but I feel it's a similar situation to Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow, where I don't really know what I suppose Sean McDermott is a defensive-minded coach, isn't he? So that's probably why it's a little bit like I don't feel like he helps Joe Burrow do anything. Josh Allen do any more than what Josh Allen already does. He doesn't sort of like elevate him in any way.
Isn't that why they brought Joe Brady in, though?
Yeah, absolutely. But to a certain extent, even Joe Brady, I'm a little bit like Joe Brady just seems to have an efficient run game. And again, it's like, but Josh Allen does a lot of that anyway. He was doing that before Joe Brady got there. And it's just a little bit like I don't feel like there's anyone really elevating and pushing him on. I think you'd probably need quite an experienced, offensive-minded head coach in order to be able to do that. So I don't think that he's underrated. I think he does get the plaudits that he probably deserves. But again, they're a little bit, as I mentioned with the whole Lamar Jackson comparison, they're a little bit like the Ravens. It's like they've really got to get over the line at some point, and they just don't seem to be able to do it.
I am, unfortunately, one of them people that really does want to see the Bills win the Super Bowl. I just think that
I don't think there's many people out there that would be against it.
Even as a rival, honestly. I just think you got to appreciate what they've done and how competitive they've been, and developing Josh Allen. I think a lot of people forget that, right? That he wasn't.
How bad he was at the beginning.
Yeah. So I don't think anyone would envy them of that. So I wouldn't sing the song though, Fred. I know I was going along to it a bit, but I wouldn't.
You wouldn't sing the song.
No.
You ever go through a table?
Oh yeah, Devon, get the tables.
Would you? Would you feel like I'd think about, well, ever since my injury that I've had recently, I probably now would second guess everything.
Yeah, maybe not.
3 months ago, get me through the table. I mean, I have seen it happen. I went to Miami, Buffalo. Oh, it'd be 2 years ago now. It was the infamous butt punt game, the one where Tua got concussed and Bridgewater came in. Miami won that game as well, actually. Come to think of it, Miami won that game. Because I remember thinking, Buffalo are going to walk all over them, and they didn't. And and I saw a couple of people go through the table. One was really unsuccessful. In fact,
I started holding my wrist then when you said it. It was like the panic of where I broke it as a teenager. I was like, yeah, would I actually want to go through the table? Probably not.
I actually might have to find that out and put it on our socials, actually, because it was a while ago, and it was quite a hilarious video.
I can imagine Adam doing a swanton bomb, giving it the old
Hardies.
Yeah, Hardy.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about. So
you don't know who the Hardy Boys are. You don't know about the Buffalo.
I know who they are. I don't know what the.
Adam was thinking the Harley Boys. The detectives. Was it?
Let's move on to Sky's main event. Not the main event of the podcast, because we've still got a lot to go. I'd like to anyway. But the main event of Sky in this podcast, and that is obviously his New England Patriots. I am just letting my notes load, and I will tell you all about what they've been getting up to. a big offseason for the New England Patriots. And some, I have to say, heralded by a lot of people as very, very smart moves. Bringing in Milton Williams, bringing in Stephon Diggs, Carlton Davis, Harold Landry, Morgan Moses, Garrett Bradbury, Marcus Epps. I mean, is a decent pick down there. Obviously, didn't really lose anyone that tragic. Jonathan Jones, Dietrich Wise. That was about it, really. And then obviously a fantastic pick for the first pick of your draft in the fourth pick overall, which was Louisiana State's LSU. I don't know why I said Louisiana State. Everyone knows it's LSU. But Will Campbell at tackle, taking Travion Henderson at running back in the second round. Third round pick, people who are fantasy football people. Carl Williams, wide receiver at Washington State. A lot of people are very interested in what he may do. And I'll admit, I did see him return the touchdown on the kickoff.
Did you?
In the preseason game? I did see it, and I was very impressed.
Come on! I don't even know where to start because I'm so excited now. I'm finally over this thing of like, oh, we shouldn't hire Mike Vrabel because I don't want us to because I knew we made a mistake. Nothing with Mike Vrabel. It was just like the Crafts have done it wrong. We know he should have been there a year earlier. But seeing him on the sideline, even though it was a preseason game, just felt right. There's Josh McDaniels. Here's Mike Vrabel. The Patriots are where they're supposed to be. We could get off to a great start. I think it's the second easiest strength of schedule behind the Niners. I just think, annoyingly, I was saying this, as you guys both know, with Shane and when we talk about the Pats and with Justin, who you know, Fred, maybe it would be better if we had a 7-10 season. But to build, right? Because still money to spend, etc. But when we've got the Browns, Giants, Saints, Titans, and are in a division with the Jets and Dolphins, there's a real chance for me of a wild card spot. I think Josh McDaniels coming back is going to slow things down in a good way for Drake May with good play calling. We've got Henderson, like you said, the 1-2 punch with Stevenson. There's just a lot of good things to like. Stephon Diggs has actually showed a bit of maturity, so I think he can help some of the younger guys there. Efton Chisholm, who I mentioned at the beginning, if anyone doesn't know, he basically is just another 5'10" white guy. He's the new Edelman, Welker, Amendola type. And yeah, two good tight ends as well, still around. So there's a lot that I like. I think genuinely the only place I think we're thin at is linebacker, because I think the corners play aggressive. It's good safeties, like you said. With Milton Williams was a standout signing of free agency. I'm optimistic, as you can tell. Very optimistic.
Oh, go on, Adam. Go on, do it to him. Go on, crush his dreams. Tell him why he's wrong.
It's very difficult to be as bad as what they were last year. So I think we will start this conversation as the fact that we are at a very, very low bar. So that's the one thing I would say. It's difficult to crush his dreams, I'm afraid. I think that they've gone out and they've spent very, very well in free agency. Brought in a lot of experienced players to go on that defense that will probably stand them in pretty good stead on a defense that actually last year wasn't that bad either. So I think defensively they'll be all right. The offense, obviously the O-line was a big weakness, and they've gone out and pretty much replaced all of it, haven't they? Apart from Onwenu, I think he's the only real starting guy from last year. Will Campbell, I think, will be a really good, solid pick for them. Makes complete sense to bring him in. I think Jad Wilson from Georgia would look pretty good as well. And Morgan, they brought in Morgan Moses and Garrett Bradbury. So it is a completely new O-line. So there is that concern where it's like it might take them a bit of time to gel. The offense, I think Travion Henderson is going to be great. He will take over from Stevenson. Stevenson just fumbles the ball all the time. So I think eventually that will be fine. And the wide receiver core, it's a bit hit and miss, but I think you've got to remember that how Mike Vrabel liked to play at the Titans. And I'm not saying that Henderson is going to be Derrick Henry, because he won't be. But the run game was the most important thing. And so I think you're going to find that although there's a lot of wide receivers here, and to be honest, none of them are particularly great apart from Diggs, and you sort of feel like how much longer is he going to be great for as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be quite an old-fashioned style offense that they're probably going to play a little bit, a lot of run game. I think Hunter Henry's probably going to get used quite a lot. Yeah, I'm not sure about the wide receivers. That's probably what's going to limit them a little bit. I just feel like there's not much there. They're all kind of okay, but that's about as nice as I can be about them. But they have a chance of getting in the playoffs this year. They really do. And the only reason that they're not going to is because of how good some of the other divisions are. And if a team like the Steelers and the Bengals can put up, say, like 10, 11 wins, and that'll probably knock them out of the playoffs. But I think they've got a good chance of doing it if they can get on a run, and they do have a nice schedule. So in theory, they should do pretty well.
Sky, you heard the same thing as me, didn't you? But you said Trayvon Henson's going to be exactly like Derrick Henry.
Yeah. He texted me that, and that's why I've already pre-ordered the jersey.
Exactly. I knew my ears did not deceive me.
I mean, it goes HEN, so it's close enough, isn't it? So
I did zone out, to be fair. So
that's fair. That's fair.
Wow. I have to admit, one of my favorite moments of this draft just gone, was Will Campbell coming to, and people will be like, "Oh, bloody Americans, all this, that, and the other." But when players come to the stage and do what Will Campbell did, where clearly emotional and saying, what are you going to be like on this line for the Patriots with your quarterback? And he said, "I'll fight and die for this team and for my quarterback." And he's so emotional. And as soon as he said it, it gave me chills. And I was like, I would take a whole line of Will Campbell's any day of the week over a lot of these offensive linemen that are rated as pretty good in this league, because it clearly means everything to him. This means everything to him. And I think that's going to be, he's going to be Drake May's protector now for the next 10, 15 years. Like hopefully injury, he's injury free, touch wood, and he keeps good and he develops well. Vrabel must have been so pleased on the phone to him when he made that call, Sky. And we've not really talked about Drake May, unfortunately. Do you think he's going to do the kick on? Do you think he'll give him space to give him the kick on as well?
Like Adam said, obviously the receivers, I don't necessarily think they're bad. I just think they're young. Like Demario Douglas has showed, potential. Butte's looked good in training camp. Carl Williams just been picked out. It's just like, the thing is that you just got to hope one of the guys kicks on or at least learns from Diggs, because like even Jalen Polk's potential to get cut, and he was a second-round pick last year. Matt Collins, if you look at the Patriots insiders, people are split on him. It's kind of like, well, you made a move in free agency, but also is he going to beat out these younger guys? But I just think for Drake May, like Adam again was saying, it's going to be running the ball more, smart play calling. I know it might be boring to a lot of people, but having watched enough Super Bowl wins, Josh McDaniels is a guy who's happy to run it on first and second down and play the percentages. And I think that's good for Drake May, because Gerard Mayo didn't really know.
You can't help yourself, can
the Super Bowl.
When you see us winning enough Super Bowls, it's not that exciting, So, well, even though you were part of one of the most exciting Super Bowls ever with Josh McDaniels as your coordinator.
No, but you need that calmness. And Drake May's gone from, when you start a sentence with no disrespect, Gerard Mayo had no coaching experience and it was just awful. And even in that one preseason game, I know it's preseason, but Dobbs as the backup quarterback did the same as Drake May in terms of like spreading receivers out and then rushing for a touchdown. And I think it's going to be actually utilizing, like Josh McDaniels must be so happy to have a dynamic quarterback who, again, I'm not even saying it from a biased perspective. I think we've all alluded to it, kind of seems to have a rawness of a Josh Allen who can make every throw. He just needs someone to develop him. So I hope he takes that step, but I hope it's at least in a calculated way. And sorry, to your point with Will Campbell, I actually admittedly, Fred, was a bit like, oh, this is cheesy. But 2 blocks he did in the preseason game, he finished them hard, like pushed guys like 10 yards down the field and put them on their ass, like Gronkowski style. And Adam, don't pull a face. Don't you dare. Will Campbell, this is it. The next dynasty. This is it. Drake May's
Do it
getting
in
at
a
least
proper, do it in a proper game, and I'll care.
Yeah, but we couldn't do it against six stringers. So we've got to give him some credit.
Well, I'm not getting paid, am I, to do it? So, like,
maybe it's a drill we should run next time we all see each other.
Do you think Drake May's going to kick on? Both of you?
yeah, I would be surprised if he didn't. I think that given the fact that he's got a head coach there and like you say, an OC there who's actually decent, I think that's a really big plus for him. So that makes a lot of sense. I just worry about his receivers. I just think that's going to limit it. It's that I know you're saying a lot of them are young, and they are, but it's not even. It's just it's a bunch of young ones that haven't really done anything in their first year, and then it's a bunch of guys apart from Diggs who are kind of older but just not very good. So it does feel like a real sort of like mishmash of wide receiver. It's almost like that was the last thing they thought about, which is fair enough, because I do believe that the idea is that it will be what Mike Vrabel did in Tennessee, which
I think this season he will definitely improve. But in terms of the wide receiver thing, I think it might be a little bit of like an advertisement year for around the league of like, look, we're sort of back. I'm still a great head coach. We've definitely got a quarterback. We're the New England Patriots. You know, we're iconic. You could come here and be a Patriot and we have a playoff run and we can go and do it. And we've got a team and there'll be players that look at the Patriots and they'll go, I want to be part of that. And they'll want to, you know, when they see Drake May play. And I think we've already heard everyone going, this kid's got it. He's got it. He just needs to then go on and on and on. And you made the comparison, well, not comparison straight May, but the point earlier with Josh Allen of like, it didn't really kick on till year 3. And we said it with Lamar Jackson the other week, didn't we? Where that didn't really kick on till year 2, 3, even 4. Like in terms of his throwing, we always knew what he could do with his feet. But in terms of his overall gameplay, it does take time some players. And I think it will. I don't think Drake is going to be Josh Allen this season. But I think you give him 3 years, more players come in, experienced players come in. Vrabel's been out of the game for what, 2 years now? Let's get him back into it as well, even though he's a fantastic head coach. And then you've got the supporting cast of Travion Henderson. And as I say, if they build up this O-line even more, it can just go on and on and on. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you.
Thanks, mate.
Not too excited, but
Adam
let's bring that excitement down a little bit.
Everyone who's watching on the video, every time I smile, we're going to do a compilation. Adam goes, he hates it.
It's okay. It's not you. He just hates joy. Next on the agenda to now suck the joy out of all of you is the New York Jets, who had a very, very busy offseason. Brought in new quarterback Justin Fields. Obviously, let go my quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Let's see how that all works out for everybody. So yeah, we did a bit of a QB swap, and we meet each other week 1, which should be fun. They brought in Brandon Stevens, Andre Cisco, Josh Reynolds, Derek Nady, Jamin Davis, Chuku Okorafor. They did lose Aaron Rodgers, like I said. They also lost Devontae Adams, DJ Reed, Javon Kinlaw, Hassan Reddick, Morgan Moses, Tyler Conklin, Solomon Thomas. A lot of age here that I'm now noticing. Chuck Clark, Lecky Fotu. Yeah, a lot of age that they decided to give up this offseason. They had the 7th pick in the draft, taking Armand Membu, the tackle out of Missouri. Took in the 2nd round Mason Taylor, tight end out of LSU. A lot of people are very excited about this tight end, so again, keep an eye on him. Took Azariah Thomas, quarterback out of Florida State, in the 3rd. Didn't have loads and loads of picks, but had enough. Obviously, they were active in the trades as well, trading away Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith to the Steelers, and got back Minka Fitzpatrick, and pick swaps were there as well. They also traded a 6th round pick for Darren Waller, brought him in. That's completely not true. They're all the Dolphins trades. And you two didn't even say anything.
Do you know what it is? I just don't like Darren Waller, so I heard his name and zoned out. I already had. Do you remember when he signed for the Giants? And I think Andrew was like, "Oh, he's amazing." I was like, "He goes missing." Yeah, let's not even go there.
I have completely copy and pasted my. This is what you have when you actually have to do your own notes for a podcast and you don't have people doing them for you, just to say stars of every other podcast that's famous. So we're allowed to make mistakes over here, man. That's why we have the most fun. Anyway, let's go back to the fun Jets.
I'm happy to start.
It feels like the experiment is continuing in New York, doesn't it? They also have a new head coach, which I failed to mention as well, in Aaron Glenn, former defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions.
Good hire.
What'd you say?
Good hire.
Good hire. I thought you went good guy. Like you had went regularly for beers with him. Good guy. Good guy.
Just texting him now what he wants for the Chinese.
Sorry?
Just texting him to ask what he wants for the Chinese for when I get my dinner.
What do you reckon his Chinese order is?
Sweet and sour. I don't know
Sweet
why.
Sour,
he's got a bit of that about him, isn't he? Like he's got the charm of the media, but like in the locker room, if you don't do what he says, he's going to be sour with you. Adam's gone.
I have nothing to say.
It is a good hire though. It feels like the best head coach in terms of like personality they've had since. And this guy did divide opinions, but like when Rex Ryan was there. You need someone who can control the New York media and, play out. And the point you made, Fred, about letting the age go. I know the Jets are obviously like a big enigma and people don't know where to place them. But when I was obviously going through, they have like 3 of the most talented players in the entire division. Like Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, and Quinnen Williams. Even Breece Hall, like people seem to be done on him already. He only just turned 24. So if they can get this right, dare I say it, for any Jets fans, and this is as a rival fan as well, like they could be putting some decent building blocks in place. And I don't think any coach in the recent history of the Jets has had it in them to go, we're going to go for a bold rebuild here with youth and actually tackle a new direction. They just sort of like, go with whatever the media wants. And I hope it works out for Justin Fields. It'll be nice to see the old Ohio State connection back with Wilson. I think he's talented. I've always spoke highly of Justin Fields, and let's see what happens for him there. But my only concern for them is that 5 of their last 8 games are on the road. Not that I'm saying they've got playoff ambitions. I just mean as in if they even did surprise people, they've got a bit of a tough stretch at the end.
Tough stretch. Sky's right, Adam. I've got the roster up here, and there's talent all over it. Like there really is. Justin Fields, Breece Hall, Mason Taylor, Braylon Allen. I even like as a backup running back. Isaiah Davis isn't too bad either as a third choice. Elijah Vera Tucker, Olu Fashanu. We didn't really see much of him last year, unfortunately, because he was injured. Right? Am I getting that? I'm getting that right, aren't I?
Yeah.
There was 2. Yeah. There was our guy as well who had the. I know what I'm thinking in my brain. I'm just going to leave it in there. It doesn't matter.
When you said Fashanu, I started thinking of
John Fashanu.
You gone back to the Gladiators, have you? Is that where you're going with it?
I was like, what's he doing in the Jets?
John Fashanu at the Jets, imagine. But it goes on. Garrett Wilson, Will McDonald, Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Quincy Williams, Jamin Sherwood, Sauce Gardner, Andre Sisco's pretty good. Bringing, I think, Michael Carter, the cornerback's not bad either.
Yeah.
Like, they've strengthened it, bringing Derek Natty. He's an experienced guy around. Jamin Davis is pretty experienced as well. Like, why are people out on them?
Because no one cares.
But why do you think no one cares? Because they've got polarizing characters and players.
It's the Jets. That's the problem. No one cares. It's like, even I'm like looking at this and I hear what you're saying and I look for, you look at the roster and you go through them all and they are like, they have got good players and they've brought in good players. Like I felt like, obviously you got Sauce on one side at the cornerback position, but the rest of it was a struggle. They've brought in Brandon Stevens and they've also drafted Azariah Thomas and they both could do really, really well. So it's almost like, that looks all right. The D-line looks reasonably good. It's got Quinnen Williams, it's got Quincy Williams, it's got Jermaine Johnson on it. These guys are solid guys. And as you say, they've brought in players. I really, really liked Membu. I think Membu's going to be great for them. I thought personally he was the best offensive lineman in the draft. But he's very much a right tackle, and the Patriots wanted a left tackle kind of thing. So it made sense why they did what they did. But yeah, their O-line, you look at them, Vera Tucker's decent, Olu Fashanu's decent, Membu's decent. I'm not overly sold on Mason Taylor. I know a lot of people are, but I'm not particularly thinking that he's going to be amazing.
He's going to be lighting up my fantasy team, baby. I've snatched him away. I know what I'm about.
The wide receiver core is kind of nothing apart from Garrett Wilson. So that's a big problem. The running back, Breece Hall's decent. I think he gets injured a lot, so that is difficult to really kind of get behind him. Braylon Allen's all right, but he's more of a pounder, isn't he, rather than like a pass catching running back. So that's a problem. And I just don't think Justin Fields is
giggling at pound. Stop giggling.
He's a pounder.
He's a pounder. Leave him alone. That's what he does.
The good thing
He
about
bounds
the
the ball
NFL,
over the line. He's got to be good at something, aren't you?
They all sound like that in the NFL, like deep receiving tight end. He's a pounder. Yeah, he's a pounder.
Only when you're talking about it.
He pounds the rock, baby.
And at the end of the day, the big problem is that I just don't think Justin Fields is going to do much. I think he'll be all right. I don't think he's going to be great. I don't suddenly see him being this amazing quarterback because we haven't seen it for the previous, 3 or 4 years now. And I think he'll be okay. But that doesn't get you in the playoffs anymore. And I think that's the issue. I think a lot of people have just gone, who have they got a quarterback? Justin Fields. Oh, okay. And that's kind of the end of it with the Jets. I think they're going to be a solid team who are probably going to get beaten by a lot of teams that are more exciting and more explosive than they are.
See, I think I've said this comparison a few times and it's always been in a negative context, but I'm actually going to try and be in a positive context this time. It's like, yeah, there's some people who are not very in on the Steelers, but they're still going, this team's probably got 8 or 9 wins in it because the defense is just that good and they're the Steelers. But the Jets don't have the we're the Steelers factor. They've got that we're the Jets factor. That's why people aren't seeing them that way. But when I look at that roster and I look at the situation and I look at what's happening, outside of the coaches, obviously Tomlin being very tenured and Aaron Glenn being brand new, it feels real similar to me. It feels real similar. I think this team's got 8-9 wins in it. And I think that's a good season. I think that's a really good season. I'm sorry, but Aaron Glenn, okay, he's not a proven head coach, but boy, did he make that Detroit defense hum. He made it hum. And there is, I think, better talent, way better talent on this defense than there was on the Lions, to be honest with you. Man for man, pound for pound. I think he just got it working the right way. If he can do that to this defense with the Jets, with the talent they have, boy, is this going to be the defense of what 3 years ago when they were top 5 defense, 2 years ago, wasn't it? And I think on the flip side with the offense, it's the exact same as the Steelers. You've got one wide receiver who's really good. You've got a quarterback that's got a lot of question marks around him. You've got a decent running back. You've got very good tight ends, and you've got an O-line, but we're not quite sure what's happening with it yet.
Yeah.
I think they're the exact same team at the minute. It's just the Steelers are the Steelers and the Jets are the Jets. They are very similar at the minute, I think. And I think some people out there in the world at the minute, I think see these guys as a 5-win team. I don't see them as a 10+ win team, but I see them in that middle bracket. I think they could easily be in that 7 to 9 mark.
They're going to cause problems like the Raiders. Sorry, when we previewed them, do you know what I mean? They're not there to get pushed over. They are still going to turn up and.
Oh yeah, they're going to be no pushover. This team.
What was their record last year?
It was
because I see improvement. I just don't see them as a playoff team.
But that's what I'm saying. Really is.
But I think that's the reason why no one cares.
They're 5-12. They went 5-12.
Yeah. They went 5-12. So you can see them winning 7-8 games.
The problem is, and I didn't know this.
And it's defense first, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. What I didn't realize about their schedule upon doing this research is Sky's point is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games they go on the road 5 times
at the end, yeah.
And they're going to the Patriots, the Ravens, the Jags, the Saints, the Bills. I mean, I think they beat the Jags and the Saints. I think if the Bills are resting players last week, they beat them there. In fact, in my prediction, in my records that I've done, I bracket off the divisions and do them first. And I've got them beating the Bills the last weekend because I think the Bills will already made it. They'll be benching everyone.
I do actually think that. Yeah, that's fair.
And then at the Ravens, that's a loss at the Ravens for me. At the Patriots, I think that's a toss-up, to be honest. So, yeah, all right, you have got. And then at home, they're hosting the Falcons, the Dolphins, and the Patriots again. So, yeah, all right, they're away 5 times, but for winnable games, that last 8.
And they just smashed the Packers 30-10. So there's that as well, isn't there, Adam?
It's the preseason.
I just was waiting to drop it in at some point. I
nibbled. Last but not least.
No, least.
Very much least. We do apologise, Andy Davis, our good friend of the Across the Pod. And I had a wonderful time on your podcast talking about my Pittsburgh Steelers the other day, and I apologise for what we're about to do. This is not going to be that fun. They brought in basically a new team in the offseason. I have not had to do this once, but I had to snip it twice, the players that they brought in, because there was that many, and I couldn't fit it all on. I'm not going to name them all, but the highlights of this, well, actually, and upon snipping all of it, I realized no one really cares about most of them. But they brought in James Daniels, Zach Wilson, Ifeatu Melifonwu, Ashton Davis, Liam Eichenberg. They brought back in. They brought in Alexander Mattison for them musical fans out there. Willie Gay, Dwayne Eskridge, they re-signed. Brought in Jermaine Ifedi. I mean, Mike Hilton. I mean, these guys might not all be on the roster by the season comes, but they did lose Javon Holland. Massive loss for me, I think that is. They got rid of Calais Campbell, Emmanuel Ogba, Raheem Mostert, Anthony Walker. And then in the draft, they took Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle at 13 from Michigan. They've taken Jonas Sava-Inaya, defensive lineman for Arizona. Jordan Phillips, defensive lineman from Maryland. Quinn Ewers, quarterback in the 7th round from Texas as well. I'm going to let one of you start the picking apart of the Miami Dolphins and why this isn't going to go well for them this season.
I take it that'll be me then, as he's gone quiet.
Go for it.
I don't. Yeah, it's not great, is it? The people that they've brought in a lot of experience especially in the defense. They've brought in a lot of experience, but they kind of feel like they all would have been good about 5 years ago. That's the concern for that. I like Kenneth Grant. I think that he'll do well for them on the defense, but a lot of their other picks I'm not that fussed about. Offensively, it's just throw it up to Tyreek or Jalen Waddle, isn't it? Is basically what it is. And they've even sort of doubled down on that logic because they brought in Nick Westbrook-Akine as well, who's kind of was doing that for Tennessee last year. It feels like that's very much what it is. It feels like using Devon Achane a lot in the hope that he doesn't get injured, despite the fact that he's a bit of a smaller back. And then obviously you've got the same old story with the Dolphins, which is basically if Tua gets a concussion, then that's it. So Zach Wilson isn't going to do anything for them. Quinn Ewers is awful. So, yeah, there's not a lot of positives here. It is going to be very much just lump it up to Tyreek or Jalen Waddle and hope that they can do the magic, which I think all the time that Tua is fit, there's probably a good chance that they will be able to get a decent amount of points on the board, but the defense doesn't look great. And yeah, I think it's going to be a struggle for them.
I cannot believe I lived in a world where I didn't know who Storm Duck was.
Ah, you found Storm Duck.
Who is it? Who is this person? I need to know. I'm going to find out everything about him after this podcast. But looking at their roster, cornerback. I know. Thanks, Captain Obvious.
From Louisville. Do you want me to say he's from Louisville?
From Louisville. He wasn't drafted this year, though.
No, I think he was drafted the year.
Yeah, it says undrafted free agent 2024.
Yeah, he was in the draft, I was going to say, but he was an undrafted free agent.
Well, now, according to ourlads.com, which is a very, very fantastic roster website, which you should definitely check out if you are looking at that, he is now one of their starting cornerbacks in a backfield that is all new players. Like, everyone's a new player. Melifonwu, Fitzpatrick, Sheffield, and Hilton are all looking like they're going to be starters according to this. And then the backups are Ashton Davis, Jack Jones, Cornell Armstrong, and Jason Marshall, who they drafted. Like, this is a completely new secondary. They are
some decent players, though.
There's some good
players.
In theory. In theory, that's the thing. Is theory.
Yeah, they're old vets, aren't they? All of them. That's the problem.
Scott, unfortunately they seem to have the thing. They just can't stay fit, can they? None of them.
No.
That's why no one can be excited about it, because no one can keep fit.
To quote The Dark Knight Rises, remember Catwoman goes, "There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne." Right? And it ain't a good storm because this team is crap. Right?
No, it's dark.
It is crap. Oh, well, look at us. We're a sexy team. We're in Miami. We've got nice colors. Oh, Mike McDaniel, overrated, right? Overrated. Draws up a few nice plays. Can't get it done in the playoffs. Well, they lost to the Bills and the Chiefs both times. And like you said, okay, maybe I shouldn't be too harsh. It does come down to injuries a bit. But also sometimes that's part of the NFL. You've got a 53-man roster. And they just built their team like Adam was basically alluding to. Oh, look at us with 2-star wide receivers, but your quarterback gets hurt. Then what do you do? Or they had the thing with paying Ramsey and then getting rid of him. That was also a bit like just mismanagement of the cap and planning. And yeah, look, you had an undefeated season when less than half the league even had winning records, about 40 or 50 years ago. But you haven't won a playoff game since 2000. I ain't winning a playoff game this year either, or probably for the next 5 years. So yeah, suck on that, Miami. You've got 5 primetime games. I'm going to enjoy watching you lose all 5 of them.
Is he the top hot seat candidate, Mike McDaniel? Would you say he's top of the pack?
He's up there, isn't he? Top 3.
He's got to be up there, hasn't he? Yeah.
I think he's top 1. I don't see where you look around the league where you think there's going to be someone who's not is more on the hot seat than him, to be honest. I couldn't head.
I think if it all falls apart of the Bengals, I think Zach Taylor's up for it potentially. But yeah, I think you're probably right. It does feel like it's all coming to a bit of a head, doesn't it? There at the Dolphins, and it's just a matter of time before they move on from him.
He's exhausted his goodwill, hasn't he? In a way,
it does feel like it.
And you know what? When you're winning and being, he's probably being himself, but let's put it politely, is that he's a little kooky and out there, and that's fun. But it's only fun when you're winning. When you're not winning, it's weird. And I remember one of the games we went to watch, we were part of media out in the UK, and I went with Andrew, obviously, part of the college and the betting show. And he was tasked with going to the Dolphins press conference, and I went to the winning team's. I can't even remember. It was the Chiefs. It was the Chiefs Dolphins in Germany.
Yeah, you guys went. Yeah.
Yeah, we went. And I did the Chiefs press conference and he did the Dolphins press conference. And I was a bit like, oh, you're going to be in for it. Even if they lost, you're in for a ride of like, oh, it might be. And he said it was so awkward. He was like, he was nothing like he appeared on camera in terms of like that kookiness. Yes, they just lost the game. Yes, they traveled to Germany. I understand. I don't mean jet lagged when you've been there a week, but they may have been there 2-3 days. I don't know what their scheduling was when they got over to Frankfurt, Germany. But I don't know. I just think, clickbait and being in social media, darling, only gets you so far.
He's a bit patronizing in the way that he deals with, the way you're saying, like he thinks he's a media darling, but I think he gives off this "I'm a know-it-all." Well, clearly you don't know that much because
I think he thinks he's a bit of a savant.
Yeah, but it was even that thing of, do you remember? I think it was when the week you were in Germany, there was a gentleman who's followed the Dolphins for a couple of decades in the UK, and he did the thing of like, Oh my God, what a great question with your accent. Yeah, mate, we've all got accents. And if you had a few variations in your playbook, you might actually get some wins in the postseason. I don't know. I just think he's unlikable. And I think the Dolphins would do better to have a reset. I can't believe I'm saying similar to the Jets, but like, you know, a team that has a bit of history, has a good fan base. They're going international again this year. You know, it could be a bit of a horrible year, and they might need to just pull the plug this year and reevaluate big time.
I think
They've got Darren Waller there, don't they? So it's all good.
Oh yeah.
I think they just need a big reset. They just need a big reset.
Yeah,
I don't think. I think you've got to be out on tour, especially now with the quarterbacks that are coming in out of college are so much more ready now than they were, and I just think it feels like you could draft. You could. I don't know what Tua's contract situation is, admittedly, but you bring in a new quarterback. You cut ties with Tua. Yeah, your cap might be a mess for a minute, but then you can reinvest before you have to pay the quarterback again. And, you know, Florida's no state tax. That's an attractive thing for people. Like, it's a warm weather state. Miami, like Sky alluded to, very fun. But it does attract people who have too much fun. You know, it's a very easy city for you to enjoy, I suppose. And like, it's a thing that Colin Coward says on his program is that football means more when there's no beach. You know, these places that are beautiful and they have warm weather all the time. There's a beach and it's healthy living and stuff like that. Like they don't almost care about football as much because there's so much more other fun things to do. You know, when there's 4 foot of snow on the ground in Detroit and you can't go anywhere, all you've got is football, and that's why it's a live and breathe. You know, that's why the community's live and breathe it. And I don't feel like Miami exactly lives and breathes football, and that might be something that doesn't attract some players there. So I don't know.
Arch Manning might like it. He probably
again?
likes a beach. Arch Manning might like a beach if
He might do.
the Dolphins go. Yeah, who knows?
Man, imagine the world we live in where Arch Manning becomes a Miami Dolphin. Oh, that'd be so bad.
I think he'll be running back to Texas if the Dolphins are the number 1 pick. So,
I mean, there is that.
Yeah.
He will see who has got the pick. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Sky. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Apologies to Andy Davis for that.
We're going to do the records.
Say again.
We're going to do the records.
The records. Oh, yeah.
You were saying thank you. I was like, the records.
I am saying, but I'm ending too early. I do apologise. Not the first time I've ended early. Well, Adam doesn't believe in records because he doesn't do them. So, or has he done one this week?
No, of course not. I'm not going to change now, am I? What's wrong with you?
I feel like it's an easier. We all think the Bills are going to win the division.
Yeah.
Okay. Adam, what do you think is from top is Bills? Obviously, Sky, you think the Bills. What record do you think the Bills are?
I think they'll probably go another 13-4, something like that. I think they'll carry on doing what they're doing. Yeah, I think they'll do that. So
I've got 12-13 down.
Yeah,
I've got 12-5. Yeah, I've got 12-5. Who's next? It's definitely the Patriots. It is.
Come on, go on, Adam, say it.
I think 9 or 10 for the Patriots. I think 9 or 10. I think it'd be. I think they might just miss out on the playoffs.
Sky's got 11 or 12. I bet if Bills go 12 or 13, we've got 11 or 12.
Right, I've got. I think 9 and 8 is the realistic one. 11 and 6 is the heart, but surely we get double digits.
Okay,
so
it'd be close, yeah,
because of the schedule that I mentioned.
Yeah,
I think it just plays into the hands of. But look, if we didn't make the playoffs and we don't get embarrassed in the playoffs, might be better in the long term for people's confidence. So, but yeah, why not? If the Bills are at 13, we're at 11. If they're at 12, we're at 10. There you go.
I've got you at 9 and 8.
Okay,
9 and 8, and I think you just miss out. I think you just are 1 year in. I really think you're going to compete like tooth and nail to get there, and I do really like you to get to the playoffs. But Adam's right in terms of what's happening around the rest of the AFC. Yeah. Who you got next?
Jets.
Yeah, Jets. I think 7 or 8 wins.
I've gone 7 and 10.
I've gone 7 and 10 as well. Oh my God, we're so in sync. So Dolphins last. How many wins, Sky? Oh, you've gone really savage, haven't you? Oh no.
I thought because Adam does make the point about putting points up, right? I'm thinking, do you know what? Probably if I'm saying Tua's healthy, let's go 6 and 11. But realistically, it could be 5 and 12. There are worse teams, just not many worse teams.
5 and 12. You think that'd be that bad?
No, 6 and 11 is fair. I do think the Jets are better than them. I think that
6 and 11. Adam, what you got? What do you reckon?
I think probably 6. I don't think there's much more to it from them. I just think that Tua will miss some time, and that will be enough in order to cause the problems for him. But yeah, and all they need is Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle to go down, which, Jalen Waddle gets injured a lot. Tyreek not so much, but definitely Waddle gets injured a lot. And it's going to be very difficult to put up enough points to win a game. I just don't see the defense doing much.
If Miami don't start the season strong, the Tyreek Hill trade rumors are going to start. So
yeah. Ha! Gaslit all of you. I've gone 4 wins. Fire.
I think this is bold from all of us, by the way. I think a lot of people are still caught off by this sexiness of the Dolphins.
I think the Tyreek Hill is really catching fire in terms of him not being there anymore. I think you're totally right. They cannot stay healthy. A-Chain is good. He's a top running back when he's healthy. And it's not like they have the guys anymore to do that whole 4 running backs that are all pretty decent and share the load. I think they rely on creative plays, and I think their defense is really not great. I don't think it keeps healthy. I think they've brought in the wrong older players, to be honest with you. Not wrong in terms of they're wrong people or anything like that. I just don't. It's not talent to me. It's not talent. This is not building. Sorry, Miami. It's the schedules are a lot harder than I think people are. There's a lot of games that you could go, oh, maybe, but I just don't. I think the other teams have got a little bit more about them, to be honest with you, especially in division. As for the rest, I mean, what's their? Let me have a look at their full schedule. I'll get their full schedule up. Let's be fair. Okay,
just quickly, if you do look at the betting, the Jets are bottom of the group.
Really?
Yeah, by quite some way.
I know.
So they're at the Colts to start the season, then host the Patriots, then at the Bills, then host the Jets, then at Carolina, host the Chargers, at the Browns, at the Falcons, host the Ravens, the Bills, and the Commanders. God, that's a horrible run. Bye week in week 12.
Yeah.
Host the Saints, at the Jets, at the Steelers, host the Bengals, host the Bucs, at the Patriots. Bear in mind, warm weather team as well. They've got to go to the Jets outside, to the Steelers outside. November. Okay. Sorry, they're hosting the Bills. Sorry,
it's cruel
November,
to them, that winter one, from just me thinking and we know historically they're bad in the cold weather. So even though there was a few games where they could start hot and everyone would do that, let the Dolphins. By the time it evens out, I think they'll get found out.
And when how they sometimes have them games in the first 5 weeks that are insane, where they're 35 degrees. They're hosting the Patriots, could affect them admittedly, but then they're hosting the Jets. The Jets will be having a similar style weather, maybe not as hot, but it is in the same band, maybe a little bit cooler. LA, they're hosting the Chargers. Chargers have that sort of weather. They have that sort of weather. It might be a bit more intense, but that's into October. So just don't see it, man.
That fight song's going to become a not fighting very well song, ain't it? But I'll be singing it when they're 5 and 12. No, yeah, it's fine. Let me not get too ahead of myself. But I have.
That's okay. You can get ahead of yourself anytime, mate. On this podcast, all is welcome. Adam, Sky, thank you very much. I hope you all have enjoyed this video about the AFC East. If you want to watch a podcast where it is in more detail about a particular team within this AFC East, our fantastic collaborator, Sky Lawrence Pank, is doing a podcast with our good friend from the Irish NFL show, Shane Brennan. They are doing Pat's Pals. It's a really great podcast about the New England Patriots. An episode came out the other day. What was the new episode about, Sky? If you'd like to give us some of the detail.
It was about us going missing for the summer break after our 2 intro episodes and talking about the big preseason win over the Commanders, Mike Vrabel fighting in training camp, and we both gave a very artsy breakdown of the Tom Brady statue. So if you're into your arts and you love Tom Brady, there you go. Come and listen.
If you're into your arts and crafts, listen to Shane and Sky. That's something I thought I'd never would have said. But Shane's a great guy as well. For people who don't know him, go and check out the stuff over at the Irish NFL show. They're really great guys. Again, thank you, Adam Sky. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure you like and subscribe our video on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on social media. We've got a lot more coming to you this August and a lot more shows coming to you when the NFL season starts. Until then, I hope you enjoy this episode and we'll see you all again very soon.